Good afternoon, Lenawee. Thank you for joining me today for the top headlines this week in Lenawee.
Accurate, dependable, and late-breaking. This is local and state news on WLEN, Lenawee's local news station.
Our first story today covers the planned pedestrian tunnel here in downtown Adrian. Construction was set to begin Monday, January 12th on the South Main Street Pedestrian Tunnel following years of planning, property acquisition, and state approvals. The City of Adrian says the project represents the final administrative step in a process that began in 2022 when the City of Adrian's Commission approved property acquisitions to allow a grade-separated pedestrian crossing beneath M52. Demolition, environmental work, and engineering services were approved in 2023 and 2024. In April 2024, the city entered into a maintenance and operation agreement with the Michigan Department of Transportation, establishing long-term responsibilities. Final execution of the MDOT permit in fall 25 cleared the way for construction. Construction costs are funded through state and federal sources, including the MEDC Enhancement Grant, administered by Lenawee Now. No city general fund dollars are being used. Traffic impacts will include lane shifts over the next month, a one-week full closure in April, and phased lane reductions through completion. The project is expected to be finished by Labor Day 2026. Project updates are available through Preen and Newhoff's construction website. Springbrook Middle School opened on Monday on a 2-hour delay after a social media message referencing school violence was reported. Adrian Public Schools said administrators worked with the Adrian Police Department to conduct a threat assessment as a precaution. Police determined the message was not made by an APS student and confirmed there was never a legitimate threat to students, staff, or school buildings. Once the assessment was completed, buses resumed normal 2-hour delay routes and the school day proceeded as scheduled. District officials emphasized the importance of immediately reporting potential threats to both school administrators and law enforcement. Officials also noted that staff receive annual safety training and that all buildings have been secured with entrances and a full-time school resource officer on site. Officials said student safety remains the district's top priority. In Tecumseh, school leaders are moving forward with plans to demolish the Tecumseh Community Memorial Pool after engineers found serious structural concerns with the building. District officials say the decision centers on safety and what comes next will involve community input. Director of Operations for Tecumseh Schools, Josh Madison, explains.
Serious degradation of the metal to a point where it is at a possible safety concern, that if we don't make some repairs, we don't do something with this roof, that there is a possibility that there could be some structural collapse. Again, a possibility, not saying it's going to happen tomorrow, but we want to make sure that we're at least taking on our end the precautions necessary to make sure that the community and students are safe, and then move forward with the recommendations from our engineers, which were to demolish this building.
Madison says the engineering review focused on steel girders, roof supports, columns, and connecting structures. While a collapse is not considered imminent, the district says the risks increase over time if the building remains standing.
One was for a selective demolition, which would pretty much demolish everything except the pool basin itself and then reconstruct around it. With that, like we talked about, there's a lot of concerns. There's some serious risks there because we don't know what we're getting into. There's a lot of unknowns, and it comes with a $15 million estimated price tag on top of that. Option 2 was to demolish the pool and then, like we recommended tonight, put together a community engagement group where the superintendent would lead that and talk about what do we do with the space once the pool is gone. And then option 3, of course, would have been to still look at demolishing the pool, but then look at building a brand new aquatic facility somewhere else here in the district.
The school board voted to move forward with demolition and begin the planning process. District officials say a superintendent-led committee will gather public input on the future use of the site, while swim teams will continue using pools in neighboring districts during the transition. And then on that same note, new details have emerged about the funding mechanism tied to the site. District administrators told the Board of Education that both the Safety and Facilities Committee and the Budget Committee favor not renewing the district's recreation millage. That millage is set to expire in 2026 and would need to be placed on the May ballot by February 10th to continue. The millage language explicitly includes the pool, which complicates future funding decisions now that demolition is moving ahead. Administrators described the discussion as informational, but non-renewal would affect how recreation facilities are funded moving forward. District officials said community input will be gathered through that same superintendent-led committee as plans for the site take shape. No replacement funding source has been announced, and no vote on the millage has been scheduled. And the December jobs report shows continued growth in the U.S., but at a slower pace than earlier in the year. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, employers added about 50,000 jobs nationwide in December. The unemployment rate edged down to 4.4%. Data shows most job gains came in healthcare, food services, and social assistance, while employment was flat or declined in sectors such as retail trade and manufacturing. Wage growth continued rising just under 4% over the past year. The report also confirms that overall job growth in 2025 was significantly lower in 2024, reflecting a cooling labor market rather than rapid expansion. In response to the report, Education and Workforce Committee Chairman Tim Walberg said the data shows continued economic improvement and cited Republican policies as supporting job creators and workers. Walberg also acknowledged that costs remain a concern for working families. The Bureau of Labor Statistics will release its next employment report in early February. Now let's check in with Dallas Behringer with a special report.
Dozens of community members turned out for a rapid response protest outside the Old County Courthouse in Adrian on Saturday to condemn the recent killings of U.S. citizens by officers from Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
Well, there are lots of people here, and we are all here because we're very concerned, first of all, about the death of Renee Good. There are different messages out there, different videos that people are looking at and making different cases. Every American should be worried that Kristi Noem already said before there was any investigation or trial that she was guilty, that she had tried to hit the officer. That's not how America works. Or at least it's not how America is supposed to work.
This protest, organized by Lenawee Indivisible, took place 3 days after an ICE agent shot and killed Renee Good in Minneapolis, the fourth such shooting death since President Donald Trump began his second term last year. Organizer Judith Hammerly explains the impact that protests against ICE can have.
It's really important to be out here, in part so that the country knows that there are people who are looking at this differently. People need to be aware there are organizations and individuals who know that this is wrong and are doing something about it. And I want to tell you, these protests actually have an impact. There was a protest of Spotify because Spotify was running ICE ads. When their contract ran out, they decided not to do that because they'd lost a lot of business. People were switching their music to other providers. A lot of noise here. I'm very happy. Listen to all that cheering. There are people who are very happy and very supportive, and it's a cold day.
The event was part of a nationwide weekend of action, which saw over 1,000 demonstrations with the theme ICE Out for Good across the country. For 103.9 WLEN, I'm Dallas Behringer.
Hello again. I'm filling in for Ian Wendt this week for our Inside the Cave update. Let's get into it. The results were split in Tecumseh between the Indians and rival Adrian Maples on the basketball court, with the Tecumseh girls winning 67-30 and the Adrian boys coming out victorious 57-43. Cave Sports caught up with Indians head coach Christy Zajac after the win. She talked about the week that her team has had, picking up home wins over Blissfield and Adrian.
We had a great week this week. A lot of different people stepped up. I mean, freshman Delaney Brown had a great game tonight, which I've been waiting for her to have a breakout game. She shot the lights out, led us with 21 points, and then Addie had another big game tonight with 16 points, 15 boards. But everybody's stepping up little by little. We're trying to get better every day, and I think they're doing that. They're working really hard at practice, and I think we've had a great couple weeks here.
Adrian boys basketball head coach Jordan Kelly spoke with WLEN Sports after the Maples win. He touched on his defensive efforts against Tecumseh.
I'll leave it open-ended to you. Reaction to a hard-fought, defensive-minded, gritty win for you guys.
Yep. I mean, we've been playing a lot better defensively these last couple of games, and that was our focus. We wrote it on the board that our energy and our effort needs to start with defense, and it did tonight. Because we weren't very good offensively in the first half. And credit Jameson and his team. They always do a really good job of throwing us out of rhythm and stuff. But we had guys make a lot of shots, and then we got out in transition off of some steals and some rebounds and stuff, and we found some easy ones that way.
The two SEC white rivals will square off one more time in the regular season in Adrian on Friday, February 6th. Onstead head boys basketball coach Brad Muska recently earned his 300th career coaching victory. The 19th-year coach spoke with Cave Sports about being honored for that achievement on Friday night, something that Muska said was a surprise.
I didn't know what was going on. Started to see some of the alumni coming into the stands, which got me a little emotional. It's a great group of kids I have here. I'm so fortunate to be at Onstead. The community support, and you can say what you will, X's and O's. It's the kids. It's the kids that make things go. And I've been super fortunate to have great kids that work extremely hard. And it's a lot of that's a product of their parents, great parents that were here in the stands tonight too. So it was an emotional night.
Muska took a photo with alumni who were able to make it to the gym on Friday night.
Just a great group of kids. I still hear from everybody, communicate and talk with them, just see how they're doing. They're in their own lives now, but I'm really proud of the kids that we developed here and the men that they've became. So just a real special night. I'm really proud of what we've been able to accomplish here. Just really cool to see those guys come back.
The Wildcats are seeking their 5th straight LCAA title. It was another record-breaking performance by Jackson Salenbayan as the Lenawee Christian boys basketball team beat TCC foe Summerfield 65-57. The senior now holds program records for points, assists, and now career free throws made with 354. The Blissfield Royals girls basketball team secured another LCAA win over Madison on the road. John Kane called the game on 96.5 The Cave and Lenawee TV.
It was LCAA girls basketball action Tuesday night at Madison as the Trojans hosted the Blissfield Royals. Jada Parrish leading the Trojans with 12 points in the game, but unfortunately the rest of the team scored only 7 as Blissfield took a 39-19 victory. They were paced by the Planet Fitness in Adrian player of the game, Lee Wyman, who led all scores with 17 points and played a fine all-around game on both ends of the floor. Royals were up 7-6 at the end of the first quarter, 22-10 at halftime, and cruised to that 39-19 win. In addition to Wyman's 17, Anna Marie Scherer added 11. Final score once again, it was the Blissfield Royals 39, the Madison Trojans 19. From Madison, I'm John Kane.
The Adrian College men's wrestling team opened MIAA dual competition by welcoming Alumna College, delivering a 31-20 victory over the Scots on Tuesday night. Adrian College women's basketball player Darby Linnerith was a guest on Monday's AC All Access show at Frickers in Adrian, aired on 96.5 FM, The Cave. The senior from Lansing, who has dealt with injuries during her college career, talked about team chemistry as most of her teammates were hanging out at the local restaurant supporting her.
That's what it's all been about, and like you said with the injuries and stuff, there was a point where I was like, why did I even come here? Like, what am I doing? And having these relationships that you will have throughout your life, it is what makes, I think, sports in general worth it. There's nothing that compares to having teammates that just have your back. And, like, this team, like, we are all so close, and we're always there for each other. And I had no doubt that they were going to be here for me tonight, and that just honestly helps us on the court so much. Like, we just believe in each other. Even when we were down against Albion, like, last week, I think there was always just this mindset of, like, we believe in each other. So having that closeness and those relationships, like, it carries on not just on the court but off as well.
And that'll wrap it up for Inside the Cave for this week in Lenawee. Now let's get back to the headlines.
Adrian Public Schools has released 3D rendered drawings of their proposed Community Recreation Center. Superintendent Nate Parker unveiled the renderings to the APS Board of Education at their regular meeting on Monday. These renderings of the 80,000 square foot building, which would be located adjacent to Adrian High School, visualize its exterior and interior, including a 60-yard turf field, 3 multi-purpose courts, a track, and a fitness center. Last month, the board voted to approve an application for a $0.65 million proposal, which would raise $27.5 million for the facility over 20 years, through a $65 increase in property taxes for residents. Board members are expected to vote on final approval at their next meeting on Monday, January 26th, after which the proposal will appear on residents' ballots in May. Also at their regular meeting on Monday, the Adrian Public Schools Board of Education heard from coaches and students of the district's elementary first LEGO League robotics team. Coaches Tricia Fisher, Jeremy Andrews, and Emily Bisco, accompanied by several 4th and 5th graders from Alexander, Lincoln, and Michener elementary schools, showed the board several of their LEGO models, which were built to solve problems in the fields of archaeology and mining. Last month, the league's 2 teams placed 20th out of 37 entrants in a competition at Columbia Central High School, an improvement from last year. According to Coach Andrews, the team is now eligible for a grant from DTE Energy. For 103.9 WLEN, I'm Dallas Behringer.
And continuing our look around the county, the Lenawee County Board of Commissioners has approved more than $6.7 million in accounts payable as officials close out the 2025 fiscal year. The board approved over $6.7 million in payments covering multiple check runs from December through early January. The general fund portion totaled over $550,000. County administrators report that despite the large year-end payments, the county finished 2025 slightly in the black. As of December 31st, the county recorded $39.08 million in general fund revenue and $38.93 million in general fund expenditures. Officials noted that the final totals may shift as auditors complete year-end adjustments and reallocate December expenses. The accounts payable approvals also include late-year budget amendments previously reviewed by committee. And Michigan Works Southeast has renewed its lease at the Lenawee County Human Services Building, securing a 5-year agreement to continue operations here in Adrian. The lease renewal sets the monthly cost of almost $12,000, a rate county officials say is comparable to other tenants housed in the facility. The agreement ensures Michigan Works Southeast will continue providing job training, employment assistance, and workforce development services to Lenawee County residents. County administrators noted the lease supports long-term stability for workforce programs while maintaining consistent use of county-owned space. The renewal was approved as part of routine county business and does not change the scope of services currently offered at the location. Michigan Works Southeast serves job seekers and employers across the region, focusing on training, placement, and workforce support. State Representative Nancy Jenkins-Arno says the Michigan House has approved legislation aimed at limiting student cell phone use during the school day. The bill would require districts to adopt formal policies governing when and how students can use their phones, with the goal of reducing classroom distractions and improving learning environments. Jenkins-Arno says research shows unrestricted cell phone use can interfere with instruction and student focus, and she believes the state needs to take action to support teachers and students. She explains why lawmakers moved the bill forward and what happens next as it heads to the Senate.
A lot of studies out there and a lot of evidence that cell phones in schools being used by students are pretty disruptive if they're in class or the kids are being called or being able to text or watch videos or whatever. It's very disruptive to the class and to the students' learning. And so it's very important that we as a state get a handle on that, making sure that our kids are being able to learn in a good environment, that they can actually take in what the teachers are teaching. So that passed the House yesterday and will now go over to the Senate, and hopefully the Senate will see the importance of this legislation as well and get that passed.
That was Representative Nancy Jenkins-Arno. This week I went out to Tecumseh and enjoyed a sandwich at Ember's Bar and Grill, where I caught up with the Van Sickles, who've been running the business for 18 years. In Tecumseh, a longtime local restaurant is marking nearly 2 decades under the same ownership, while looking ahead to new flavors from around the world. Ember's Bar and Grill first opened its doors in its current location in 1970, after relocating from a downtown Tecumseh spot known as the Rocket. Since then, the bar and grill has seen several owners before Sam and Allison Van Sickle took over in 2007. Today, Ember's hosts weekly pool leagues, trivia nights, and seasonal events, along with its once-a-year St. Patrick's Day Reuben Chowder, a local favorite that regulars plan for months in advance. But for co-owner Sam Van Sickle, the restaurant was never just about food. It was about people.
We were always in the hospitality business, actually for my whole life. I was in the hotel business in Lansing, and that was kind of burning out, and this opportunity came up, and so called up my parents, and I was like, hey, you guys want to go into business? And so there were 4 of us went into business almost 20 years ago, and we're still here today.
As Ember's approaches its 20th year under the Van Sickles, the focus is shifting toward what comes next without losing what made the restaurant a hometown staple.
I have kind of been inspired to bring a little bit more global flavor to the town of Tecumseh. So I am really looking into diving deep into regional foods, flavors, and the favorite drink of a certain country or nationality, or anything like that, ethnic stuff. This week, for example, I have Portuguese piri-piri chicken with an authentic Portuguese rice and their caldo verde soup to go with it.
Okay.
So we're going to try to do things that are along that line, Makes a soup with a main dish from a region. It could be anywhere. I might put up a map of the world and just throw darts, and that's what we're going to do this week, you know what I mean?
The idea was sparked by travel abroad and a desire to introduce Tecumseh diners to dishes they may not otherwise encounter, pairing regional soups with traditional main courses from around the world. As they approach 20 years at Ember's, the Van Sickles say they wouldn't be here without community support.
We appreciate them, that without having the customers that we have, we wouldn't still be here today.
been humbling at times for sure, but yeah, we love the community. That's why we're still here.
I would love to say thank you, Lenawee County. Thank you, City of Tecumseh. Thank you to the schools, to everyone that supported our kids for the last 18 years. And we will continue to support your kids for as long as we're here and still in business, because we love the community and we love everyone.
And with nearly 2 decades behind them and new ideas ahead, the Van Sickles say Ember's future will continue to be rooted in the same thing that built it: community. I'm Brian Vish for WLEN, Lenawee's local news station. Lenawee County is moving forward with a $1.5 million housing rehabilitation program aimed at improving owner-occupied homes. The County Board of Commissioners has authorized the next step in the MSHDA Community Development Block Grant Homeowner Rehabilitation Program. The program is expected to support up to 75 homeowner rehabilitation projects across the county. Commissioners approved issuing a request for proposals to hire a third-party administrator to manage the program. County officials say the administrator will be responsible for ensuring compliance with U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development and state requirements tied to the grant. Once selected, the administrator will oversee project eligibility, construction standards, and reporting for the program. And finally today, Nashville-based country artist Chase Matthew will headline Adrian College's spring concert this year. The concert is scheduled for Saturday, March 21st at the Merlot Sport and Fitness Center. Doors open at 7 p.m., with the first performance beginning at 7:30. General admission tickets are $50 and are available online through Hometown Ticketing. Matthew is a rising country artist who has partnered with Warner Music Nashville and has toured nationally as both a headliner and supporting act for major country artists. He has released 3 albums and has earned more than 1 billion career streams worldwide. His music includes platinum and gold certified singles, along with a #1 hit on Billboard's country airplay chart last year. Opening acts for the concert have not been announced. Adrian College officials say additional details will be released closer to the event. And that'll wrap it up this week in Lenawee. I'm Brian Vish for WLEN News. Remember, for the latest local news updates and stories that matter, tune in every day to 103.9 WLEN, your daily stop for Lenawee County news.
Count on WLEN, Lenawee's local news station, to keep you informed with accurate and dependable information 24 hours a day.